here at McGarvey's, 1097 Elm Street. McGarvey's, thank you so much for hosting us when we need a spot, because you guys are the best.
Common Sense New Hampshire would like to thank McGarvey's for hosting our show. They're located at 1097 Elm Street, the oldest bar in Manchester, New Hampshire. They have great food specials brought to you by Chef Mel. Monday nights is Customer Appreciation Night, where your drinks are half off. Don't forget about the award-winning karaoke 7 nights a week. McGarvey's can also be found on Facebook. Once again, they're located at 1097 Elm Street, Manchester, New Hampshire. Their phone number is 603-627-2721.
Live from McGarvey's, it's Comon Sense New Hampshire. Phone number is 603-217-5400. Again, the phone number is 603-217-5400. Craig Driggers, Aaron D., the voice of Comon Sense New Hampshire, is here.
Hey, guys.
And my name is Bernie D. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so we definitely got a lot to talk about. Craig is he's outside doing his stuff. But again, give us a call. Once again, 603-217-5400. So as I mentioned before, in our previous segment, I definitely wanted to talk about Roseanna Barr, ABC, and The View, because there seems to be a lot of double standard. And some people will agree with me and some people will don't. Give us a call, 603-217-5400. And so let's reiterate what has happened with the whole Roseanna Barr and the cancellation of the show and what ABC did and everything. So here's the story. So let me give you a little timeline. 2 months ago, Roseanna Barr decides to go to ABC and says, hey, listen, let's revive the show Roseanne. So they did that. Her sitcom returned back in March after 2 decades, I think it was, having enormous ratings on ABC. They come back, network executives come back. They were celebrating a strategy to bring her back, and guess what? They did, okay? But here was the thing. The difference between 2 decades before and now is that Donald J. Trump, our president, is now president when Mrs. Barr is congratulated on one of the largest audience and one of the largest shows on ABC. But on Tuesday, it all came crashing down. Again, this was on the 29th, or the week of the 29th. ABC decides to cancel her show, Roseanne's Hours, after Miss Barr and the co-creator, they decide, hey, listen, she sends out a racist tweet about Valerie Jarrett, who's an African-American woman who was a senior advisor on Barack Obama's presidency, on her administration, and she's considered one of the most influential aides of that administration. And Miss Barr wrote down, if the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby, would equal VJ. That is the tweet that brought her whole stardom down. So I guess the question to you guys, my panel, if you will, that's Aaron and Driggers here, where was freedom of speech taken too far? Did ABC do the right thing by canceling her show?
Okay, her comments were completely fucking beyond the pale, inappropriate, okay? And she apologized for it. Later said that it was because of Ambien, which Ambien even responded to, and said that Ambien said that one of the side effects from our drug is not racism, okay?
Yeah.
So
it's not funny, but it's shocking that the company themselves had to stand back, had to take a stance.
Okay, so you can't
say, hey, listen, don't blame us on this fucking drug.
She hit.
It also didn't put the phone in her hand or the computer in front of her to, tweet this.
She hit 2 big bullets there. Okay, the first one is Muslims, okay? And the second one is racism towards blacks. You can't, I'm sorry, man. We live in an era where you can't say shit like Valerie Jarrett looks like a combination of the Muslim Brotherhood meets Planet of the Apes. You can't say that shit and not expect some serious deleterious consequences. Right, unless you're black, right, or a Muslim. You know what I mean? If you're a black Muslim, you could have got away with that all day. Now,
not to mention
that's a great
the
point.
fact that she brought down the apes.
That's a great point. Yeah, exactly. Planet of the Apes is a great series. I like those movies. But that's a great point. If Roseanne was a black Muslim, okay, and she made that joke, no one would have fucking batted an eyelash.
Would that be considered a double standard, though?
Yeah, well, yes,
she got away with it because she's a black Muslim. Okay.
Okay, well, no offense, but I heard more of the N-word here at McGarvey's last night than I care to hear in my lifetime. Yeah. And they were all talking to each other.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, okay,
so there was one kid that every other word out of his mouth.
Was he black?
Was he black was the question.
I don't think he was necessarily, 100% black.
He looked like he might have been really tan.
But
he was definitely Hispanic of some sort.
Right.
But
here's the problem I have about that, okay? You guys know, I am Latino. I am Bolivian. And I have a problem with that. Where does the Latin community, where does the black community get away with saying something like that while we stand back and going, really?
Okay, so recently, Shay and I like to watch comedies, comedy specials, and Bill Burr had a great point. He said, why is it always a white guy that has to be the racist? You know what I mean? Why do you never see like a Latino who's like, why does an Indian girl have that dot on her forehead? You know what I mean? It's so easy to paint white people as being the racist, But here's what's interesting to me about the whole Roseanne business. And so you guys familiar with who Joy Reid is on MSNBC?
Yeah.
All right, well, she's got blog posts from 2006 that, where she made some seriously negative comments about gays, right? And MSNBC stands behind her, okay, because they said that they support her, whatever else. They totally didn't say what the hell? I'm sorry. There's like a bug on my leg right now. They didn't say anything about her initially claiming that that her website had been hacked by time traveling fucking hackers and shit. So yeah, look up Joy Reid. So we live in an era where the bottom line is there's always going to be a double standard when it applies to whether you are on the right side of the spectrum or the left side of the spectrum. And here's the beautiful irony of it all, I think, is that Roseanne is not on the right. Roseanne is not a Republican. She's not a conservative. She is on the record as basically being a communist kind of style person. She thinks that everyone should be contributing to the welfare of everyone else. That's a very communistic sort of style of thinking. But here's what's great is before ABC even hired Roseanne, okay, her ideology has been on display for years upon years. Roseanne has, Google it right now, Roseanne and Jewish cookies, okay? There's a picture that Roseanne did as part of a series where she dressed as Hitler and had a bunch of Jewish cookies.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
Now, I'm sorry, if you're part of the Jewish community, that's not funny. You know what I mean? Jews going in an oven while you're dressed like Hitler? There's no fucking comedic value to that. You know what I mean? So you can't act like you didn't know what you were going to get with Roseanne. Yes, this woman is fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. She's going to say some fucking crazy shit.
And it's been like this for years.
Because that's who she is. Right.
Correct.
Now, does that mean that her comment wasn't wrong? No. You know what I mean? But if we live in an age where if you're on the left and you say some crazy shit and all you have to do is apologize and you get to keep your career, you get to keep your show, you get to keep this shit, the same rules ought to apply. You know what I mean? The same rules ought to apply. But again, don't get it fucking twisted because Roseanne is nowhere near, and this is, I've seen a bunch of articles recently on various places where they're like, Roseanne, I've seen articles that basically say, that imply Roseanne is a typical Trump voter. And I'm sorry, I bet you dollars to donuts Roseanne didn't vote for Trump.
I agree with that
I bet you
statement.
dollars to donuts she voted for Hillary. You know what I mean?
Yep, I
so
agree
nobody
with that.
fucking knows that, but these assholes all want to write that in that narrative. You know what I mean? That's the narrative that they want to approach it from, where they want to lump it all together. Because Trump's super racist from their perspective. And Roseanne has made herself, made a comment that was clearly racist. And she claims to be and appears to be a Trump supporter. Then let's all lump it together. You know what I mean? Just like with the MS-13 shit, where Trump said animals. He was clearly talking about MS-13. They just want to fucking connect the dots, whether the dots connect at all. And I don't know. It's, to me, I think the once again with Roseanne, just like with so many other examples, it's such a fucking representative example of the double standard that exists, not just in Hollywood and television and everything else, but just in general life. It's fucked.
One of the things that I definitely wanted to bring up also is that ABC has decided, they said that they were going to be rebooting Roseanne without Roseanne. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Wow, I didn't hear that. That's
who
crazy.
is,
right?
Who's the actor? I forget her name. She's also on The Talk on CBS.
Sarah Gilbert?
Sarah Gilbert. What they, I guess what they've decided to do was the execs over at ABC, they're deciding, I'm not sure exactly if it's moving forward, but they decided that they're going to reboot the show and having Sarah Gilbert's character as the main character for the Roseanne show. Will it be called Roseanne? I don't know. Will it be called something else?
Right.
Again, I don't know. But it
So
drives me
Roseanne's
crazy
gonna
where
die?
it's. But here's the thing now.
show.
Here's the thing. Are all the networks going to go? Oh, okay, so we're going to do a show on monkeys. Okay, great. Okay, wonderful. So do you have any racial issues with the world? Because do we have to worry about this? Because we're going to put your hit show on.
Yeah.
Is this something that we're going to have to worry about?
There's nothing but horrible double standards when it comes to the whole Roseanne thing. Like one of the good examples is
I like the way
Wanda,
you said that.
Wanda,
horrible
double standards.
I love how you said that.
Wanda Sykes is one of the one of the writers of the show. Okay, and this woman is on record. Yeah. And
She's
and as soon as
something
Roseanne
else.
made her comments, and ABC decided to pull the plug on Roseanne, she came out on Twitter and elsewhere on social media and was like, "I totally support whatever this and that." And or I think with the way it worked was Wanda Sykes said that she would no longer be associated with the show. And if you and people, and this is so easy, man. If you're a fucking hypocrite and you've been posting shit for years, really nasty shit, all somebody has to do is just go through your fucking timeline. And that's what people did. And they went through Wanda Sykes' timeline, and they were able to identify hundreds of examples where she has said some shit that, again, was equally beyond the pale. But because she's on the left and she's a comedian, so is Roseanne.
But see, that's the thing. I guess
Okay,
that
but
here's.
because
I'm
she's
glad
on
you
the
bring that
left,
out.
nobody says anything. Nobody's like, well, like that.
right.
That was equally wrong. You know?
Here's my theory behind Roseanne. Okay, she's a comedian. We all know that. If you've ever seen any of her roasts, she's disgusting.
Right. That's her
Like,
stick.
But
that's
funny.
but that's how she is.
Right.
She's, Brienne.
Right.
But
Brienne even
see-
posted, on our thing. She's a loudmouth moron.
Right.
She is.
That's what she's always
she
been.
She is, but that's what she's known to be.
And you know what? I'll go on.
So it's
Right.
always
She
been
did.
accepted until
Right.
till just now.
Right. Exactly. Because we live in this era of everyone's having their asshole tied in a knot, and any fucking thing that you say that is like.
Here's the thing. If and I'm gonna. Okay, so let me take a step back here. If Roseanne said what she said in the tweet in a roast, it would have been acceptable.
Oh yeah, it would have been
people
funny.
It would have been
laughing.
completely acceptable.
Right.
But when she took that and tweeted that out, she got crucified for it. So there's a place and time, I guess, where things can be said. I don't know.
And it probably took one
Okay.
person
And can
to
you-
be
can
like,
you take out that-
I'm
let's
offended
imagine-
by
Well,
that.
can you take out the comedian guy? Well, hey, don't forget I'm a comedian.
Okay, first of all, there has been over the past since Trump was elected, There has been nothing but horribly vitriolic things said about Trump and his family.
But look at the things that he has said and gotten away with it because he's the president.
Irrelevant.
People say
Irrelevant. That's not the context of what we're talking about right now. Okay, there are comedians who say there's comedians who have joked about Trump molesting his children. Okay,
yeah.
and they still have jobs. Okay, so.